So I'm currently on top of a tree in Wanaka, and I thought I'd use this opportunity to talk about what are the things that I like and dislike about New Zealand. Now, before that, I want to show you guys that there's a group of Asian tourists that's looking at me because I'm on top of a tree right now. Look. And Marcel's there just doing his own thing. But yeah. New Zealand's pretty great. I really like the nature of it all. I think that's the biggest factor. It's no doubt that there's some of the most beautiful sights that I've seen before. And that's also another reason why we went to Queenstown and Wanaka and just kind of do a little bit of travel before we leave. Definitely going to miss the sights. Sometimes the weather is pretty good, but sometimes it is pretty cold. And when I say cold, like a lot of other places are probably colder, but a lot of the houses here don't have great insulation. A lot of the houses still have like single glazed windows instead of like double or triple glazed. So especially in older wooden houses like the flat that we have, it does get quite cold, especially during the winter time. And also the biggest factor is just that it's really expensive for what it is. Like, it's undoubtedly normal if it's like expensive and then you can earn as much to spend and get like make the most out of it, if that makes sense. But with the way that we're living at the moment, I just feel like it's very not migrant friendly. Me and Marcel, obviously, we've had our fair share of immigration issues, which like we could say if we wanted to. There are ways to do it, but the hassle of it all, at the end of the day, got us thinking like, do we really want to stay here? Is it really worth it? And there was a lot of thought put into that, and it's not a question that we could answer really easily because in a lot of ways we do like New Zealand, but there's just more opportunities, especially for younger people elsewhere. Now, in 2003 or 2004, I believe, and maybe bleeding into this year, which is 2005, it's the highest record of New Zealand Kiwis, especially like young adults in their 20s or so, moving away for work as well. And a lot of these people are moving to places like Australia, for example. And yeah, the living cost is equally as expensive, if not slightly more. But one, opportunity-wise, there's just a lot more out there. And number two, like the wages at least kind of cover it up. You get more pay for what you do. And the best way to put it is I feel like New Zealand would be an amazing retirement place. Like if I was old and rich and I could spend as much money as I want doing fuck all, I would definitely stay here. But for opportunities when you're young, not as much. Now, ironically, one of the reasons why I wanted to stay in New Zealand was because I'm really into sustainability. At the beginning, I came here because I wanted to study for my master's, and I took it in sustainable practice. And you see in the worldwide stage that New Zealand is one of the top performers when it comes to sustainable practice, environmental awareness, environmental contribution, conservation, a lot of these eco-friendly initiatives, essentially. And it is still up there, but as with all countries, often the authority leaders are the ones who make those big decisions. And I was a big fan of Jacinda when she was in term. And then the day that I landed in New Zealand, which was in 2023, she stepped down. So that was great timing. But instead we have a new government at the moment of this filming. Is not the most... He's not the greenest person in the world. And a lot of the organizations that do conservation work, like Department of Conservation, for example, and other like MFE and stuff, a lot of them have gotten budget cuts, and the organization itself is just like changing quite a bit, and that includes some of the rules and regulations in terms of, you know, creating an organization for environmental protection as well. And that, coupled with the fact that it's so hard for me to find work anyway, it's just the competition's already high, even for locals, and what more me who has visa issues. So I get it, but yeah, it's just complicated. And at the same time, it's also that existential crisis of, do I really want to work for somebody, or do I want to be able to do shit by myself and like leave the rat race or whatever? It's really ironic because when I met Marcel, like I had a very different view of like work and everything. Obviously, I come from a very like traditional Asian background, and my parents were always like, "You gotta study as much as you can, and you will be successful." And that's not always the case. I have a level 9 master's degree. Marcel is a high school graduate, but obviously he made more money than me when we were both living here in New Zealand. And I know it's not like always the case. Like, yes, you get some kind of exposure to different things, but at the end of the day, it's not really what you know. Often it's who you know and how you know them. And yeah, I don't know, my perspective's changed quite a bit. But tying that back to New Zealand, essentially I got what I wanted. I came here to study. I worked for a bit. I worked in Greenpeace for a bit, which is great. But it wasn't exactly what I had hoped it would be like. I thought I would like it more. I did not. But yeah, we got our experiences, and I'm grateful for all of that. But it just seems like it's time for us to leave, which is fine. I thought I'd give you guys a bit of backstory of why we ended up making this decision. And a lot of people are thinking, I'm out of my mind, because they'd love to live the way that I do. And sure, for a lot of people, being able to work part-time in a restaurant that pays you decent money is good enough. You'd still be making more than you would back in your hometown. So I get how that might be the way to go for a lot of people. But I feel like there's a lot more to do, and there's a lot more opportunities, and I'm excited to take risks for once, because I feel like I've always been a bit of a planner, and I always take very calculated decisions, especially in terms of like life and study and work and whatnot. And I want to be spontaneous for once and be like, let's try something. And if it doesn't work out, it's fine. But then we know. And that's all that matters. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.